Nereza said a word, and the gray fairy burst into flame.
Was that the goal?
Luckily that's okay. It's like, unfortunately, she was not a fire fairy.
Right.
She's an ash fairy.
There you go.
All right, hello, welcome back to Fanfiction Theater, Season 1, Part 2, I guess.
The entire Part 2 of Season 1?
Well, I mean, this is the first pod of the rest of our lives.
Oh, excellent. Isn't that always true?
After, I don't even want to think about how long it's been. I am Tristan, your host, and with me tonight is Misha.
Good evening, everyone.
So the one thing that you need to know going into this episode is that Drew ate an edible before recording. You'll hear him mention it after he goes on a rant about Mommy Dearest. He had a back injury or something, that's why. Left you on a cliffhanger, sort of, with Venom's New Beginning, which was just started, and which we will not get back to this episode because we have to finish out Faerie Wars. What was it? The Six Kingdoms or something? I can't keep track of this shit. Not complete the story, but we're going to stop reading it. It got too serious for us.
Yeah, we are here to have fun. We are not going to tolerate serious business.
Occasionally we'll read a good story, but only if we're having fun with it.
Yeah, or if one of our own cast members wrote it.
Right, then we don't have to have fun.
Right.
We do that out of pure obligation.
Oh.
Yeah. But first we're going to get back to Ultimate Betrayal, Sweet Revenge, chapters 11 and 12.
You're going to love them.
Last episode, Brock pled forgiveness and I guess kind of joined Ash's side, went over to the dark side. Then Sapphire beat Max Maple in a yet another one-sided tournament match. We're going to get away from the tournament matches, though, thankfully, for what Ash describes as more revenge schemes.
Which is great, because that's ultimately what the story is about. We don't need to waste time with Pokemon battle. You can watch the show if you want to watch some Pokemon battles. You can't watch the show for revenge schemes.
The sweet revenge is what we're here for, and it's going to start paying off starting now.
Okay, is this the one where everybody told them
the one with the betrayal and the revenge and the whatnot?
Okay, so and we decided that it's just each installment he's just kicking somebody else's butt.
Yeah, I checked ahead. I read ahead a little bit, and it is actually different. It's not a Pokemon battle this chapter, so. Okay.
Now, I was thinking about this week, and I realized, because apparently I run out of all other thoughts. But I was wondering, it's like, is what's his face, Ash? That's the villain now?
Well,
in this story,
I mean, he's kind of an anti-hero.
Okay. Okay.
He was the one that everyone betrayed him.
Okay. Oh no, he's. Did I tell you guys I met him?
I'm left all alone.
Oh really?
No, you did not. Yeah. It was horrifying because you have to look at him and with a straight face and not pretend like, holy shit, you're Tommy Wiseau.
Right.
But it was great because he was with this company that we were making a DVD in PAL, so we can release The Room overseas. Let's cover the world with that shit. And we were explaining, well, it needs to do a transfer.
Doing a great service.
And he says, like, you are trying to charge me more money, but it is not going to work. At that point, he wasn't looking at me, so I just crawled under my desk and bit my head. It's like, don't laugh really loud. Don't laugh really loud. Oh, God, what a weirdo. What a weirdo. Anyway, that's my Tommy Wiseau story.
I've not exactly met Greg Sestero. I peed at a urinal next to Greg Sestero.
Oh, that's got to be troubling. Yeah.
He did not
Don't
wash
pee
his
next
hands.
to your heroes, folks. They'll let you down every.
All right, so I have to share, if we're talking about celebrities in bathrooms, very quickly. I met Oliver Stone.
Let's do it.
I met Oliver Stone once. This is way back in college for me. So like around 2000, he was he did a talk thing, and then afterwards he signed his book. Right, his book. I cannot remember the title, but it's about his time in Vietnam and the war. And I'm standing in line with my friend Lynn, and he gets up and he walks past us, and I apparently I looked worried or something, and he put his hand on my shoulder and said, "Don't worry, I'm gonna be back." And then he proceeded to walk into the women's bathroom. That's the entire. I mean, right. I gotta. Yeah.
Wait a minute. That's the end of Act 1. I gotta see what happens in the rest of the movie. He made a very big point when he was talking that whenever he's shooting a film, he is sober all the time. He doesn't get high while he's working on a film. He also made a point to mention that he's not currently working on a film. So I bet they got an applause, right?
I'm sure. Yeah.
He mentioned drugs.
I mean, it was like Portland in 2000. Of course, everything got.
Oh my God! All right, he's playing to the crowd. Good for him.
Yeah.
You read the room, right?
We last experienced some extremely one-sided battles.
Also, Brock gave Ash tried to give Ash his Pokemon, correct? Didn't that happen? Am I imagining?
Yeah. No, that's right. He went and got them from Professor Oak's lab and offered them to Ash as a peace offering.
Right, but Ash was like, no, you keep them. Yes. They like you well enough or whatever. So
yeah.
And what's his daughter's name? Sapphire? Is that her?
Yeah, that is one of his daughter's names, Sapphire.
Oh, he has multiple daughters?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Oh, is like Ruby or Black?
I don't think it was Black, but
well, Sapphire is named after one of the Pokemon games, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I'm licking it.
His son, Mystery Dungeon.
All right, Chapter 11. After Dawn's battle, which she lost handily 3-0. No kidding. Richard announced that there would be a brief intermission so everyone could get something to eat. Let's all go to the lobby. Ash, Serena, Pikachu, Delphox, and Greninja walked back towards Ash's house to grab their own food. As they were walking past the battlefield behind the Pokemon Center, however, the sound of raised voices caught the raven-haired man's attention. It's like once per chapter we have to call him the raven-haired man.
Raven-haired every time.
Come on, Tyler. Don't you think you've done enough training for today? Asked a Voice A teenage girl, by the sound of it. No way, Tyler replied. I need to make sure my Pokemon are in top shape for my battle. But if you keep training, they'll be too tired to battle later, the girl protested. At least get Nurse Joy to check up on them. Ash exchanged a glance with his friends and started to make his way towards the voices. When he rounded the corner to the back of the Pokemon Center, he saw the McKinley siblings, Evelyn and Tyler, arguing heatedly. Evelyn had her arms folded, and Tyler was glaring daggers at her. Neither of them seemed to have realized that they had company. What's going on here? He asked, interrupting their little sibling spat. Evelyn and Tyler turned to look at him, their eyes widening when they saw who had addressed them. Hey there, Evelyn stammered nervously. Tyler just folded his arms and gazed at them curiously. Were we bothering you at all? No, not at all, Serena reassured the young girl kindly. We just heard arguing and wanted to make sure everything was all right. Evelyn relaxed, the fear in her eyes disappearing. Oh, well, we're fine, she replied. I'm Evelyn McKinley All, though. I guess you would probably already know that. And I'm her brother, Tyler, Tyler added unnecessarily. He gestured...
everybody knows Tyler, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's not necessary. It's not necessary to introduce him at all. If it tries to do it again, just skip it.
He gestured to the Glaceon and Pinsir standing off to one side, looking haughty but tired, and added, "And these are my partners, Glaceon and Pinsir."
Also unnecessary.
It's nice to meet you two,
Ash said politely.
My name's Ash Ketchum, and these are my partners, Pikachu and Greninja.
Hi there, Pikachu said cheerfully, waving.
Hello.
Greninja's greeting was much cooler than Pikachu's. Much cooler.
Way past cool.
Hello. Much cooler than Pikachu's, something that Evelyn and Tyler didn't miss. Evelyn looked at Greninja curiously, but didn't say anything. Tyler just nodded coldly. I'm s1e6, s1e6 introduced herself. And this is my partner, Delphox. Whoa. What were you two arguing about anyway? s1e6 asked curiously. Evelyn sighed. Oh, I keep telling this idiot that he needs to rest his Pokemon before his match today, but he insists on training nonstop, she answered, giving her brother an exasperated look. Ash, Pikachu, and Greninja had to hold back chuckles of amusement at the sheepish expression on Tyler's face.
Well, I'm sure you both must be hungry,
he said reasonably.
So why don't you take a break so you can get something to eat? I'll bet your Pokemon would like to have lunch too.
Tyler hesitated for a brief moment, but nodded. All right, but then it's back to training right after, he insisted. Evelyn rolled her eyes. Something Ash felt like doing himself.
He felt like rolling Evelyn's eyes? That seems...
I could do that for you. Did this kid really think that tiring his Pokemon out mere hours before a league battle would do him any favors? Next to him, Greninja and Delphox were shaking their heads in exasperation.
He reminds me of his brother, Chris,
the frog ninja Pokemon remarked to Ash, keeping his voice low so that only his trainer heard him. Only his trainer can hear him. Ash is the only one who's trained his aura to understand Pokemon.
That's right.
We've established that.
Chris was the last trainer I had before Yuhi insisted on training 24/7.
Sounds like fun,
Ash whispered sarcastically.
So they're saying that, like, Tyler is just, like, dragging his Pokemon by training them constantly, but Tyler's just, like, hanging around here with people talking. Does he have, like, a clearing set aside where he's forcing his Pokemon to train while he's somewhere else?
No, I mean, he's not training them, like, at this second. Just in general, He's pushing them too hard.
But it seems like he's not making them train 24/7 like Chris was.
Well,
this is part of that 20.
It may have been a slight exaggeration, a hyperbole, if you will.
I don't think that's Greninja's way.
Listen, I know Greninja. Greninja nodded and grimaced, evidently at the memories of all the rigorous training sessions. The group started to walk towards the cafe everyone was having lunch at. Along the way, Evelyn and Tyler resumed their argument, much to the amusement and exasperation of the others. It was clear that the brother-sister duo were polar opposites. Seriously, you can't keep this up, Evelyn said scoldingly. I've told you 1,000,000 times that non-stop training won't help you in the long run. You need to care for your Pokemon properly. I might add, the bond between trainer and Pokemon is far more important than strength.
At least Evelyn seems to know what she's talking about,
Pikachu remarked quietly to Greninja, who nodded. His opinion of the younger McKinley sibling was beginning to rise. Perhaps she wasn't as bad as her brother.
What would you know about it? Tyler snapped. Who cares about stupid bonds? I'm a stocks guy. I'm a future Pokemon champion, not a friendship camp counselor.
Well, from what I've seen, you're neither.
Tyler smirked at his sister. Evelyn, dear sister of mine, someday when you're older and more mature, you'll finally realize that I'm right. On the road to success, there are no... He broke off as he crashed into the door to the cafe and fell to the ground.
Is he gone? Is he dead?
Ash and Serena immediately ran over to make sure he was all right. To their relief, he was perfectly fine except for a bloody nose.
And now, since this is an anime, that means he's turned on?
The bloody nose, yeah.
Yeah, is that how this works? Okay.
Evelyn, meanwhile, looked from her fallen brother to Ash and back to her brother. So, I guess this is the end of the road, she commented quietly.
It does make it sound like he's dying. I'm still in awe that up there the author put, she said scoldingly. Evelyn said scoldingly. It's like, that is such a long way to walk rather than just saying Evelyn scolded.
Yeah. And
there's a lot of adverbs I didn't know about. I keep learning in these things. A ton of them. She's like, I didn't know that was an adverb, but okay.
In fan fiction, everything's an adverb if you only believe.
Just ly, that's all you need. Jam it on there and let's roll.
So Ash ravenly looked at the group around him.
Raven-hairedly.
Chapter 12. After everyone had eaten their fill, the first round of Silverhood League resumed. The next battle was a matchup between a trainer named Avery and her sister, Leela. Instead of going back to watch it, however, Ash went to speak with Greninja and Pikachu in private. Thank God.
Ash, what's going on? What did you need to talk to us about?
Greninja asked.
We need to come up with more revenge schemes,
Ash answered.
I was just gonna joke, we need to find new ways to kill people, and
well,
really got there before me. Yeah, I got dinged there.
Keeping his voice low in case anyone was listening in. Where are they? I thought they were in private. Doesn't he like own a palace or something?
I picture them under the bleachers.
Yeah.
Because as much fun as it is watching the traitors getting their asses handed to them, it would make our revenge more worthwhile if we could drag it out for a bit.
I agree,
Pikachu said at once.
Ash got his first taste of blood from Tyler Taylor falling over, and now he's like, we need more blood!
That's what my life has been missing.
Count me in. What do you think we should do?
Greninja asked eagerly. Ash thought for a moment. He wanted to embarrass his ex-friends in a way that would be sure to ruin them for a long time, and somehow he didn't think his usual method of humiliation, that is to say, defeating them in battle, would cut it this time. The novelty would wear off by then. It has already, let me tell you. Since they were already being destroyed in their Silverhood League first round battles. He would have to think outside the box for this one if he wanted to get 18 more chapters in or whatever.
It's like this kid is writing this in search of like vengeful catharsis that's never gonna come.
He set out to write the Count of Monte Cristo for Pokemon, and it's not quite coming together. Yeah. Okay, he would have to think outside the box for this one.
It would be cool if we could do an interview,
the Frog Ninja Pokemon began slowly,
and used it to expose them as the moronic, backstabbing assholes they are.
Ash grinned as an idea formed in his head.
Greninja, you're brilliant. I've got it now,
he said excitedly.
All right. Before I tell you my plan, though, I'll need you to get Serena, Delphox, Jade, and Sapphire. They need to be here for this, too.
Greninja nodded and disappeared off to retrieve the others. Ash leaned back and folded his arms, whistling to himself. Pikachu looked at him curiously, but didn't say anything. He knew from experience that Ash wouldn't tell him what his plan was until everyone was present. A few minutes later, Greninja finally returned with Serena, Delphox, and the 2 Ketchum twins in tow. They exchanged curious glances as Ash led them inside the cafe everyone had been eating at earlier. Okay, so were they just like in a bush outside the cafe?
All right, what's this about, Dad?
Jade asked curiously.
Do we need to help you get revenge on the traitors?
Sapphire asked hopefully. Ash chuckled.
Yes, you do,
he replied.
Awesome, Sapphire cheered. When can we start?
I need to know the nature in which he replied.
It's left up to interpretation.
First, I should tell you my plan, Ash said. Here it is. Sapphire, you're going to be taking as many embarrassing pictures of the traitors as you can. Greninja can help you with that. He's good at sneaking around. Get a bunch of upskirts if you can.
Are you serious?
No, that's not in there. It's implied. It's between the lines.
Well, it's super petty already, so.
Jade, you're going to be in charge of writing an embarrassing story about the traitors.
So we're going to find out that Jade has actually written this story that we're reading. That's going to be the twist at the end.
You guys ever see Mommy Dearest?
No.
Just shut all this down and go right now, because it is the best bad movie you'll ever see. But at the end, Mommy Dearest died. She was awful. She beat him for having wire hangers, which I don't know why the kid brought wire hangers into the house, because she wants none ever. But at the end of the movie, the kids get shafted in the will, and then the brother is just like, well, I guess Mom had the last laugh, huh? And then the daughter's like, did she? What, Daniel or whatever his name was? Did she? And she looks at the camera, and then the credits roll, and I realize, oh, the daughter wrote the piece of shit book this is based on, so Mom doesn't get the last laugh. So that's why I connected that to this. Sorry,
Okay.
what time is it? 6:17. All right. Oh yeah, we're getting close, guys. Brownie's happening. I'm gonna have some deep thoughts.
So is this their way of sneaking in Pokemon Snap, do you think?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, that's exactly it.
All right. Okay.
Embarrassing story about the traitors to go along with the pictures. He's just making a zine, a hate zine.
Right.
We'll be publishing both in the newspaper.
Of course he controls the media. My God.
Serena. Ash has become Rupert Murdoch. Now, wait a minute, though. Wait a minute. Okay. Didn't they really betray him? Like, why do they need to make up stories about them?
They really just told him to give up, and probably the public at large would not find that as reprehensible as Ash himself has.
All right.
So maybe he does need a little more dirt on them.
Because it seems like up to this point, you could see this as proving them all wrong, right? But now he's going into full-on villain mode.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he's turned a corner
this
here.
Seems like evidence in a crime. This whole thing seems like evidence. Like we got to submit this to at least a therapist.
He's going full
to
Walter
break down
White
what's
here.
going on?
Yeah,
it's a little wild.
Serena, you can help me create a video that will humiliate them even more. And Delphox, you'll be helping me and Serena.
What about me? Pikachu asked.
You can help whoever you want,
Ash told him.
or you could try to convince more of their Pokemon to join us.
All right, I'll see what I can do. The little electric mouse agreed.
Great,
Ash said.
So, does everyone understand what their job is?
Got it, Dad, Jade said, grinning.
Me too.
This is going to be awesome, Sapphire said excitedly.
Should we get started now?
Greninja asked. Ash thought for a moment.
Sure, why not?
He agreed.
Go ahead and get those pictures taken. Jade, you can start writing if you want as well.
Sapphire and Greninja nodded and sped off. Jade followed her sister a bit more slowly. Ash turned back to Serena, Delphox, and Pikachu. So, what should the video be about? Serena asked. I was thinking maybe we could have one video for each traitor.
Good idea,
Ash complimented her.
I have the perfect idea for May, so let's start with her. Then we can figure out what to do about the rest of them.
What do you suppose we do with May's video?
Delphox asked.
We could make her look like a whore.
Pikachu suggested.
Wait, what did you just say?
Pikachu suggested we could make her look like a whore.
Okay.
Or-
all right. Just make sure I understood that. So,
Yeah.
A whore.
What a caboose.
Or we could see if we can find footage of her screwing up in her contests, or we could...
He was cut off as a loud scream rose up inside the stadium, followed by the sound of raucous laughter. The four of them exchanged confused glances and ran back towards the arena to see what was going on. When they arrived, Ash saw the cause of the chaos at once. Someone had managed to get a picture of May on the large screen that read, "Whore of Hoenn, we'll show you a good time for $5. Ash, Serena, Pikachu, and Delphox couldn't contain their laughter. They doubled over, clutching their sides and gasping for breath. In the stands, they could see May crying, which only served to make them laugh harder.
I wonder who did that.
Ash chuckled once he was able to breathe properly again. Well, it can't have been any of our friends, Serena said, frowning. They're busy with their own jobs. So it must have been one of the other competitors.
Well, I'm making whoever did that a part of the royal court,
Ash said, entirely serious.
I just have to find him or her.
How are you going to find out who did it?
Pikachu asked.
I'll think of a way,
Ash replied.
And anyway, weren't you going to talk to the traders' Pokemon? I think some of them should be in the Pokemon Center by now.
Oh, right. I'll be back later, Ash,
Pikachu said as he scampered off. Ash watched him go before turning to the crowd again just in time to see a male spectator hand May what looked to be a small sum of money. She took the money, pocketed it, and screamed at the top of her lungs.
Which seems to imply that it's true. You know, it's like, damn my heritage.
Like, she actually just posted that ad.
Author's note. So, who do you think posted the picture? Comment your guess in the reviews.
Okay, I think that's probably enough.
Yeah.
Enough of that one for tonight.
When I think of Pikachu taglines, it's like number 1 is chill, and then number 2 is we can make it look like a whore.
See, that sounds like the Hollywood Boulevard Pikachu that I know.
Dad's asking if we're doing fanfic tonight. I wonder if he went to the wrong channel.
Is he on Google Plus?
It's just an empty void, but he's there.
Right, exactly.
Are you the 404 that I hear? Okay. Part 4, they came for flame.
And they rocked the house.
Uriele and Nereza visit a gay bar, apparently.
That night, neither sister could sleep.
They came for flame, but they stayed for the water because they were on fire, you see.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That follows logically. Uriele had returned to their tent, feeling foolish for her behavior over the past year. She glanced over at her sister, then lowered her lids. I was gonna like clash them together and startle you, but nah. I'm sorry, Nezzy. Nereza's heart lifted at the sound of her special name. Nezzy K. Nezzy. She reached her arm out to touch her sister's shoulder, not her hand. It's like
arm. So
you and I are all each other has. When we lost Mother, I lost you too. I'm sorry, who? Mother? I don't have a mother. La 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 la.
I keep picturing from like the Guardians of the Galaxy trailer, you know, like he's like, I'm Star-Lord, and he just looks at him and goes, who? I just picture Uriel saying that all the time.
That's exactly what it happens. And
okay, where were we? When we lost Mother, it has been difficult and lonely. I understand. I have been a fool. She looked up at her sister cautiously. Do you really mean to avenge Mother? Is that truly necessary? The Dark Fairy thought about it for a moment.
I can show you the math.
Look, I'm not mad. It's purely logical. The Dark Fairy thought about it for a moment, then sighed deeply. I have lost sleep over thinking, she answered. You must realize this is not a plan born out of anger. I merely seek justice. Justice without mercy is no justice at all, countered Uriel. It is evil.
Wait, this is Uriel who's like turning innocent Neopets into friggin' stone? Like
this author's really mixing up the morality, or I don't know.
Merciful to the wrong races.
Nereza glanced at her sister. Their eyes met. What do you suggest then?
That we go for the flame.
Yeah, we came for the flame, and that's what we're gonna do. We journey.
Come for the flame, stay for your funeral.
We find them and explain that we come in peace and wish them no harm. We let them know that they caused great suffering to us, and we demand recompense. Some form of sacrifice. Anything will do. Food, most likely. Perhaps an exchange of knowledge.
Sorry, food is a sacrifice? I made you this sacrifice. It's a casserole. You're going to want to heat it up at 350.
Yeah. It's like, food most likely. You look delicious.
Just like a potluck or something.
Yeah,
this was the first draft of the Kushner Middle East peace plan. Like a potluck or something?
Food? Probably. Here's what's confusing me, though. The Fire Nation came and attacked them because they're at war, right? This is not like an isolated incident. That wasn't my impression.
But I didn't think they actually said the word war, though.
I thought they said warring factions, warring fairy tribes. I thought that was mentioned, but I'm not going to go back and search for it.
Okay, I searched it. The tribe of fire fairies that had taken her mother must suffer the same loss. This is where she's calmly thinking through her revenge, right? Warring fairy tribes fought plenty, and injuries were common occurrences, but not often did the loss of life occur. So it's not clear if they're saying that this happened because they were warring fairy tribes, or like if it's saying like even when tribes are warring, death doesn't occur. I think the latter is what it's intending, but it's not very clear.
Okay. That's still complaining that we didn't advertise and link to this enough, which is probably true. I don't touch the Twitter anymore, and it's probably going to get shut down for what Tracy's doing with it. But
just proud to live in a country where you can tell your president directly to go die. I mean,
oh yeah, I got banned for 2 days for doing that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't get banned. I try.
Really?
Just don't ban me.
I've completely lost my place here. Food most likely. Okay. Perhaps an exchange of knowledge. Like that's like, if you just like tell us 10 facts that we don't know, we'll call it even.
Oh, great.
Give us some like VHS copies of your Smarter Than a Sixth Grader, and we'll call it good.
What's under your Snapple tops?
Please.
Ellie, you cannot believe that will work. I can, for it must, Uriel said sharply. We will be sensible about this. Food and knowledge cannot replace our mother. Neither can the loss of one of theirs. The sisters stared at each other until finally Nereza relented. Very well. You are right. That is fair. Good. We shall take our leave in the morning. Nereza blinked. In the morning? But we know not where they are.
But we know it, Mother.
Yeah, suddenly you're going to know not things? Okay. Oh, I have long known where they are, the light fairy replied, settling herself into her blankets. They have been following us. They are not 5 days' walk away. Her sister was stunned, and also a little offended. Why had Uriel been privy to this information, but not she? Had Morwen not found her suitable for it? Were her ideas of revenge worth withholding information that might spur her into action? She did not ask her sister, for she could not help but feel that such was indeed the case. This angered her, and she once again felt that Morwen did not respect her as she respected Uriel.
I don't get why that's new information, because she already knows Morwen is training Uriel.
Yeah, it's kind of par for the course, really. Will the Fiora approve of our quest? She asked darkly. Uriel,
I know next time.
Uriel shrugged. She'll have to. We are going, and that is that. She let out a yawn, snuggling deeper into her blankets. Sleep well, Nezzy. We will need our strength. Still a little bewildered, Nereza nevertheless lay back onto her blankets and pulled them over herself. Exhaustion fell over her like a curtain, and without another thought, she succumbed to the darkness. I thought it was going to be like she succumbed into darkness, but she succumbed to the darkness. I like succumbed as a word, though. I might start using that.
That is pretty good.
The night was still, so still in fact, that it made the fairies' skins crawl. They lit fires all round and huddled close, hoping to chase away the darkness and bring themselves comfort. For once, the dancing flames did not offer them comfort, but instead inspired more fear, for the shadows they cast upon the ground, on the tents, and on each fairy's face, skipped and twirled with an almost sinister flare. The shadows did things they had never done before. They took faces that twisted into silent laughs. The fairies wondered if they were all imagining it, and the Fiora Farath demanded the fires be extinguished at once. She had felt the evil behind the shadows, and it frightened her more than she would care to admit. Okay, I gotta come up with a different old Fiora voice. Quickly, while we still can, she declared. We must go now and flee this place. Take only what is absolutely necessary. Keep your inner fire about you, but light none. Keep your inner fire about you, but light none.
Keep that fire in the belly.
This is a pack in, pack out kind of thing with fire.
Okay. As the 17 tribe members flitted about as speedily as they could, the Fiora stared into the darkness beyond the tribe's northern edge, her heart pounding wildly. She saw what she was looking for. The farthest trees she could see were beginning to wilt. Goosebumps bloomed across her arms.
Oh, gross!
And the back of her neck.
Side effects include blooming goosebumps.
They had time yet, but there was no way to tell how much. Hurry, she told everyone as she passed them.
Great line read.
Hurry.
Love that.
Hurry, hurry. Heading
On your left, hurry. On your right.
She grabbed a few choice items she knew they could not leave behind.
and put them in a bag, which she then hung over her shoulder. She was about to leave when the first scream broke through the night air. Oh, man. That's a chapter end I would have used in high school. Morwen had not been pleased to hear of her apprentice's quest, but had approved of the obvious maturation the girls had obtained during the night.
When I quickly scanned that with my eyes, that was not what I thought it said. That was okay. Good. Glad that went that route.
There may be hope for you two yet, she had said. Coming up with a bad plan I don't approve of? That shows maturity.
And then sent them on their way. They had left just before dawn and carried little. Morwen had cast a protection spell on them to hide them from wraiths, but warned it would not last forever, so they should do their best to make haste. Uriel had
if it could last forever, that would solve all the fairies' problems, right?
Right. Uriel had not voiced her opinion regarding the wraiths, though it had not changed, and she still felt they were only scary tales. Nereza's only explanation for her sister's insistence on the non-existence of the wraiths was that she was so frightened by the prospect of their reality she could only cope by pretending they were not real. Such an explanation would also cover Uriel's lack of mourning for their mother, in case you were curious. During the first part of their journey, Uriel enlightened Nereza on her knowledge of the whereabouts of the Faratha tribe.
We have been watching them ever since the attack, she admitted matter-of-factly. Or at least Morwen was. She didn't tell me until about a month or two ago. She was able to tap into the energy of their insignia and use it to scry for them. She showed me where they were. They're northwest of us, obviously, since we had been traveling southeast.
Why have they been following us? Nereza demanded.
Uriel shrugged. Who can say? They are our enemies. It would make sense for them to watch us as we watch them.
Nereza did not know what to make of that, so she said nothing.
Good. So literally for an entire year, the people who raised the place where they live has been within a 5-day journey of them.
It seems like it. Like they keep moving and keep advancing to match.
Can you hear me?
Where they're moving. Oh, hello. Yeah, this is Kevin from Quip Tracks joining us now. Man, how many people do we have in here? 7?
The 10 viewers. Well, that probably includes you guys. So.
I have something to say to all of you that we're making fun of my old man knowledge, but I don't want to say it in front of the kid.
I don't know what to make of that, so I'm going to say nothing. They were making good time, rarely stopping and walking quickly. They came on the second day upon a very wide river. Okay. Which they had passed before, and they flew over it.
Okay.
Are they going
Seems
in circles?
Logical.
Yeah.
Upon touching ground again on the other side. Also, why are you walking if you can fly?
Right.
Nereza wondered.
Wait.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
As always, I should just read the whole sentence. Nereza wondered aloud at the purpose of their wings. Do you ever wonder why we have them? We live on the ground.
Have you never learned the stories, dear sister? Uriel asked, grinning. The ancient fairies made their home among the clouds. They discovered the ground below one day and decided to explore. Some stayed and fell in love with different parts of the land, separating over time into types. The air fairies kept to the clouds, while the earth fairies made their homes in the forest dens, fire fairies in the heart of volcanoes and deserts, the light fairies in the open and sunny fields, the dark fairies in caves and under the ground, and the water fairies in the oceans.
That
I thought she was going to voice our question, but
I
all right, you live in the air, right? And then you notice there's a ground. Okay, I'm with you. But like some of your people are like, I'm going to go live in a volcano, and that happens? Like, that's okay?
Yeah.
Well, that's how they became fire type. They caught on fire and they lived brief.
But why didn't they die?
This is rapid onset evolution here.
Why then have they lost their wings if your charming little story is true? Uriel laughed. Silly sister, what need has one for wings when the sea brings one to the top rather than the bottom? Because they float, I guess, is what there's...
Fairies float, by the way. Fairies float, by the way. That you needed to know that.
They have their tails instead. I'm pretty sure when we looked at some of those pictures, there was one with a mermaid tail and still had wings, but
no, it's not a mermaid tail. It's a water fairy tail. Come on.
Okay.
Get the lore right.
They can fly through their own upside down sky.
Yeah, that is the line. That is the line. So they can fly through their
We're
own
concentrating on the wrong part of the sentence
sky.
there. That is...
So, yeah, it's like they went into the ocean. They floated to the top. So now they like stand on the surface pointed downwards. And okay, whatever. Nereza smiled. Her sister took more stock in old fairy tales, spelled with an A-E, than she did, but she enjoyed hearing them. And what did these fairies look like? She asked before they separated into types. Oh, that was always my favorite part. Uriel looked dreamily up at the clouds. They were purple. So very pretty, I imagine. Purple? Nereza raised an eyebrow. Like a dark fairy? Like myself? Uriel shook her head.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, the pictures that we showed were mostly purple.
Yeah, and Nereza is a dark fairy. Uriel shook her head. No, more like a pinkish purple. Very soft, very regal. Not as evil as your skin tone. The dark fairy glanced at her sister, who was smiling thoughtfully. You kind of drifted away from the wing thing, though. Why do you have wings and never use them?
Well, they would use them if they were air fairy.
They are.
Are they?
They're an air fairy tribe.
Yeah.
All right. No. All right.
They just flew over a
I
river.
think the twist is that the wings are the beings, and the rest of the body is the useless appendage that's eventually going to be gone.
I see.
They're just vestigial, I guess.
Suddenly, Nereza became uncomfortable, though she couldn't for the life of her say why. And why did the fairies rejoin? She inquired, feigning a tone of disinterest. That's hard to do when you're asking.
Let me ask you a very detailed.
Yeah, I'm not really interested in your answer.
Into tribes and such. I am betting it was because... Yes, her sister interrupted, a shadow cast over her eyes. Yes, because the wraiths came. They drained the land of its life and turned fairies gray and neopets to stone.
But no, you did that.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Like
Nereza eyed her sister sharply. Turned to stone.
Like yellow?
The fairies were forced to live in small groups, Uriel continued, failing to notice her sister's glance. Always on the move, on the run. The 6 fairy types had mingled freely, but now they stayed with their tribe, suspicious of everyone and everything else. She paused. Anyway, they're gone now, if they ever existed at all. She
was the one that was insistent that they existed.
No. Uriel insisted they didn't ever exist, but she's telling this fairy tale, which she puts more stock in than her sister, but she doesn't believe in the wraith part of it.
Okay.
This is all...
Are we going to find that she's a wraith?
It does feel like she's going to reveal she's a wraith. But I think it's more like, I think she's like, did you ever hear the stories? And it's like, of course they're bullshit, but this is the fanciful reason for why we have wings. Although it really didn't explain it.
The fanciful reason in a fantasy world with fairies and stuff.
Right.
It's not a fantasy world to them.
Right. Shouldn't their fantasies be like about offices and cars and stuff?
It was just really confusing that they put in the bit about, oh, she always puts more stock in these fairy tales than I do.
All right.
Whatever.
She actually has stock in them. She gets cost goes up every time it gets told.
But she stopped. It was clear that Uriel was finished talking. I was trying to interrupt you, but I was too late.
I can tell just by looking at you that you're done talking.
The rest of the journey was fairly uneventful, but the same could not be said for their arrival. Now, they said it was a 5-day walk.
Right, but they were making good time.
Okay.
Are they walking or are they flying?
They're walking, except when they need to fly over a river, apparently.
Right.
Maybe they have wings, but they fly really slowly.
They're like moths. They just kind of fly in random circles and hope they land where they're supposed to.
It took them 3 hours to make it across the river.
Right.
Okay, the tribe's tents came into view on the horizon when the sisters came across the grayed grass and wilted flora. They froze at the sight. It isn't moving, the dark fairy pointed out breathlessly after several moments of silence. So we can deduce that they're no longer here. Uriel looked as if she might faint. Ellie, we have to hurry. There might be someone left here who will need our help. The light fairy nodded, though her eyes were wide with fear. The sisters ran the rest of the way and found all the tents eerily intact. The place looked undisturbed, except that there was no grass at all here anymore. The ground looked scorched as if from fire, though Nereza knew that was not the case. Hello?
But other than that, undisturbed.
Hello? She called out. Is anyone here? Through the thin, low-lying fog, she could see several dark shapes. As she and Uriel approached, the shapes became more clearly defined. Uriel muttered a spell under her breath and made a sweeping gesture with her arms, causing the fog to dissipate. She gasped at what she saw and stopped in her tracks. Who are you? Asked one of the fairies. One of the other fairies that approached through the fog, through the low-flying frog.
Yeah,
low-flying flog. We are Nereza and Uriel from the Morwenna tribe, answered Nereza. We are not here to harm you. Certainly not. What more harm can be done? Nereza.
Such a sarcastic.
Yeah. I mean, that would be the point.
There's immense trauma, and you're just like, oh yeah, thanks.
Uriel's like, check out my turn to stone spell. How about that, bitch?
Nereza moved forward into the crowd of fairies. There's a crowd?
Yeah.
Uriel remained rooted to the spot. These were fire fairies no longer. Their flaming wings had been extinguished, and all that was left were pitiful, weeping remains. The wings were weeping?
Like,
this lends credence to the theory that the wings are the sentient part of them. But the red and orange color had been drained from their hair and eyes. Gray fairies, she whispered to herself. Never before had she seen one. She had almost thought they weren't real.
What's that? She said to herself. Speak up. Gray fairies, I said, she said to herself.
What has happened here? Nereza asked, though she knew perfectly well. Why did you not escape? Oh, that's what we should have done.
I should have.
If only you'd been our Secretary of Defense.
Okay, we've got a link for gray fairies as well. Oh, look at them. She's so gray and sad.
This fairy is always gloomy and has no wings, making her almost completely powerless. Not too much is known about this fairy. There are several items based on her, including a gray paintbrush makes your pet gray and sad looking. Great. This is the sad brush. It makes your pet sad. The gray fairy who had spoken for her tribe sighed. We were not quick enough, she admitted. Now we're sad all the time. They came upon us with only a few moments' warning. Her eyes grew dark. We tried to fight them off, but we did not expect it. Our wings grayed and fell apart, and we are what you see now. Nereza swallowed hard. Gulp. How did they do it? Sighs flew throughout the tribe.
They came for the flame.
The sound made Uriel's prickle. The sound made Uriel's prickle. That just makes my prickle.
Congrats, you made the prickle, Uriel.
She wanted to shut her ears, to close her eyes and believe none of this was real, but she couldn't move.
Not even her ear flaps.
The fairy leader looked directly into Nereza's eyes and frowned. Frowning right in your eyes. Your eyes are red, she said. Oh, this is the fairy leader, so... Your eyes are red, she said, somewhat stunned, like the lining of your wings. Don't dark fairies generally have purple eyes and purple hair? Yours is black and blue. Nereza scowled. I do not see how my appearance is suddenly important at a time like this.
Or how she knew she was a dark fairy if she doesn't look like a dark fairy. What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's on her name tag.
Also, he said the lining of her wing.
From the pictures, I assume it's like the drawn outline.
The lining makes it sound like the inside of a vest.
Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying, yeah. I don't see how my appearance is suddenly important. I think if it had been important at any time during the story, the narrator would have made a point to describe it.
Right.
But they didn't. Pardon me, she said. It's just that you look almost like... She paused, and then shook her head. Never mind. How did the wraiths turn you gray? The dark fairy demanded.
Tell me now or I'll beat it out of you.
Pray to me. The gray fairy smiled lopsidedly. You better check for a stroke. Raise your arms right now.
Okay.
It looked frighteningly out of place. Why?
It was in her armpit.
They erased our names.
From where? Like, we could give you a new name.
How about your Frederickson?
Thea. Yeah, your name is
Lopsided smile.
You're Carl. Like,
right.
And cars. That's just exactly what you do.
And then just like flames shoot out of their backs again and they're fine?
That seems like kind of like a meta, like Neopets. Like, if I don't think you can own fairies on Neopets, though. Kitty, let us know if you could own a fairy on Neopets and rewrite its name or erase its name.
You can have fairy-colored Neopets. It changes the color of your Neopet and it gives them little wings.
Okay.
And also, the fairies are available in the game to randomly give you quests.
Okay.
And you have to go get them the items that they ask for.
But they're like NPCs. They're...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You can't like interact or hang out with a fairy. You can literally do their bidding and that's
rename them.
No, you can never rename them. They have names.
Yeah. So I guess it's not really a meta like tie-in to the
That would have been a really clever meta tie-in. I think you're giving them a lot of credit.
Yeah. Oh, well. Okay, part 5. The girls have been gone 4 days now.
Morwen wrote.
They should be returning within the next 3 or 4. My scrying bowl has, since the eve of their departure, been muddied and unclear when peering on the enemy tribe.
She's just staring into her pudding cup.
My scrying bowl is so dark.
Yeah. All I see is Bill Cosby doing horrible things.
My best conclusion is that the great evil took that place, and my apprentices walked through a wretched land. Of course, no harm shall befall them if what I have done is as I expected.
Through a Wretched Land is my favorite Bob Dylan album, by the way.
There is still much to study of them, yet the time is failing. This entry has been prompted by the utmost importance. I have found a prophecy regarding my girls. Near us to the west is a dense forest labyrinth, and I have discovered something most marvelous about the location. It is the home of the oracles. Many have taken on the form of Neopet, which disgusts me, but nevertheless...
I would want to have Neopets in this Neopet fanfic.
This story is about fairies. Nevertheless, I was able to successfully project myself into the labyrinth and capture one. It was in the form of a being of light, the natural state of oracles, and I procured of it a most thrilling prophecy, which I shall proceed to record in detail. It appears that the days of the tribes are numbered.
I love that it's like, man, you know what fucking sucks? Neopets.
It's nothing lower.
Literally the only thing we've only seen of them is one of stone.
Okay, now we're snapping back to the timeline that we may recall from last episode. Erased your names?
The Grey Fairy nodded.
They are vanished. They have never been.
She explained. Your voice is fine, but I picture it as Morrissey. I get sad sometimes. Is that all right?
Yeah. None of us remembers any of our names, and it appears the power of a fairy is tied to her name, as the old stories say. Don't know if you knew that, but they say that.
Nereza frowned.
Haven't there been gray fairies with names?
She questioned. The fairy looked over Nereza's shoulder at Uriele.
The light fairy is a story keeper, is she not? Ask her. A story keeper?
Uriel's frozen shock was rattled when the attention was drawn to her. She rubbed her arms and dared to step forward till she stood beside her sister. The sight of the gray fairies so close was unnerving.
Okay. Her sister is asking, so the same voice as before. What's all this, Ellie?
Her sister asked. Now that feels wrong. Oh, well, fuck, whatever. Uriele licked her lips nervously.
Well...
See, if it starts with well, then I picture it as Ronald Reagan, but that's okay.
Yeah.
She began.
The stories say there are many ways to make a fairy gray. One can lose one's wings and become gray, but still retain one's name. The loss of one's name also makes one gray. A lengthy period of great sorrow can do this as well, as can curses. Whatever way one is turned gray, the only cure is to give the fairy a new name. But that is not as easy as it sounds.
Certainly not.
Agreed the gray fairy.
A fairy is born with her name. It takes great power to bestow a new one. Can I not just give you one?
Nereza wondered.
It is not that simple.
answered Uriel.
For fairies, anyway.
Nereza did not accept that answer.
I'm going to call you Joe.
I mean, why not? Can't hurt, right?
Well, I am going to try anyway.
She declared.
We must do all we can to help.
Uriel looked at her, puzzled. Was not the purpose of coming here to assert justice? Why would Nereza want to help these fairies when leaving them was more than enough punishment for what they did? Still, she stayed silent. She could ask later. Nereza took the gray fairy's hand in her own and closed her eyes. All of a sudden, she felt an empty blackness. At the same time, without understanding how, she knew exactly what to do. It was like a plot contrivancy sort of feeling. Something was stirring within her. It was as if she had known this all her life, as if the gift of naming was part of her very being.
Okay, hold on.
I name you Ted.
Yeah. She's got the gift.
She searched through the blackness that was the gray fairy's spirit, and finding nothing, she settled herself in the center of it. Something bloomed within her, and she felt it cover her entire self until it was almost overwhelming. Channeling the power into her hands as if she'd done this hundreds of times, she felt it seep into the gray fairy, and the blackness began to glow. Something appeared on her tongue, hot and bright like an ember, and she said it. Uh-oh. Twitch is showing your browser encountered an error. Are we still live?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, okay, you're
maybe
back
some
now.
slight hiccup there, but okay.
Okay.
Nuria.
Okay, that's okay. I was like, I don't know where the hell we were, but that's where we are. Uriel and the other gray fairies had been watching intently as Nereza and the gray fairy whose hand she held began to glow with a bright pink light. Nereza said a word, and the gray fairy burst into flame.
Was that the goal?
Yeah,
Oh, that was the goal.
luckily that's okay. But
Yeah.
It's like, unfortunately, she was not a fire fairy now.
Right.
She's an ash fairy.
There you go.
Yeah.
The other gray fairies gasped and began to rush to their leader's side in an attempt to rescue her, but Uriel held up a hand.
Wait.
She said.
Look.
They did, and saw that the fire engulfing their leader was reaching out into what looked like long wings. The rest of the fire disappeared inside the fairy, who was no longer gray, though not as she was before either. She had dark skin, and her wings were made entirely of fire. Nuria and Nereza opened their eyes.
Thank you, Nereza.
Said Nuria. There was a power behind her voice that seemed to make the very air tremble.
I know not of your methods, but you have rescued me from a woeful future. I would be honored if you might do the same for the rest of my tribe, and in return, we shall ally ourselves with you.
Nereza was a little stunned.
You are most welcome,
she said.
and I thank you. The Morwenna tribe will appreciate friends. You are mistaken. We will have nothing to do with the tribe run by Morwen the Light Fairy. We shall ally ourselves with you and you alone. We are to replace Morwen as Fiora.
Uriel put in suddenly.
The both of us. We do not know when that is, however.
Nuria bowed her head to Uriel.
Then when that time comes, we shall befriend your tribe. Until then, it shall be only to Nereza.
Uriel was insulted and put her fists on her hips. Oh, she's going into the Janeway pose.
I will have you know that I am more powerful a magical practitioner than my sister. If she can give back names, then so can I.
She stormed over. She's going to turn somebody into stone. It's going to be a very awkward end to the evening. She stormed over to another one of the gray fairies and snatched up her hand. The fairy looked at her nervously. Uriel closed her eyes and focused. Nereza watched, somewhat sheepishly. She almost wished Uriel would fail, so she would have a wondrous ability which her sister would not, but cast away the thought. She would not be envious or spiteful of Uriel. That was unthinkable.
Well, apparently not.
You just thought it. she's being spiteful now. So like, I'm just imagining you're asshole, you're shitheel, you're douchebag. Like, but it works. So that's their real names.
There you go. Said Uriel.
Sean Spicer.
Said Uriel, and the fairy, like Nereza, was swallowed by fire, which she then absorbed. She was every bit a normal fire fairy, but she was a fire fairy nonetheless. Okay, that's an odd way to phrase that.
Yeah,
Despite
that's
herself,
an elaborate way to phrase something boring.
Despite herself, Nereza felt her stomach sink in bitter disappointment. The light fairy twirled to face Nereza, smirking triumphantly.
See?
And that's where we're closing the curtain on Faerie Wars. After this, the fairies return to their camp, where the Fiora names Uriel as her sole successor, leaving Nereza in the lurch. But before there can be any consequences of this, an army comes in and forcibly segregates everyone by type, and then there's a big time skip. So, if you want to find out if any living Neopets ever make an appearance in this Neopets story, you can look up The Faerie Wars 1, The Six Kingdoms, written by DrewDrop26. Ultimate Betrayal, Sweet Revenge was deleted from fanfiction.net years ago, so we've chosen not to reveal the author's username. Music for Faerie Wars by Komaku. The fanfiction theater intro and outro tracks are by Visager. Electric guitar riff by Warlock Ninja via freesound.org. This has been a production of The Order of the League, produced by TB McQueen Creative. Fanfiction Theater is recorded live on both Twitch and YouTube. Visit fanfictiontheater.com for more information. And although Fanfic Night at orderoftheleague.com has been broken for quite a while, apparently, it is back online. You can once again email suggestions, stories, and fan art. And I also set up a forwarding address for hello@fanfictiontheater.com. And as always, remember that we spell theater with an R-E, not an E-R, because this is not a building that shows movies. This is the very art of theater. Good day, sir.